See it right out here.
Or if you want to grab something at the bar concession stand, you are more than able. But as you come on down, everybody, our express entrance is going to be the very first entrance on your left-hand side, right through the studio tour archway. General admission will be a little bit farther down. Just look for the sign that says enter here, and then you're good to go for general admission. But I also want to let everybody know they can hear my voice that the very first Waterworld stunt show of the day will begin at 2:15 this afternoon. That is a fantastic stunt show with live fire effects, stage combat, and simulated firearm effects. And the very first showtime of the day will be at 2:15 this afternoon.
I'll probably be there for it.
Now, if you cannot catch that showtime, just download the Universal Studios Hollywood app. That's going to give you up to the minute wait time for all of our rides and all future showtime for our Waterworld.
Excuse me. Oops, sorry.
We are the permanent home to the singing competition, The Voice, at Arizona 3C. So we'll talk about some of the popular shows, the current ones that film now. We'll talk about some of the past movies and TV shows that have graced the studio and brought over the years. We got 110 years of studio tour history to cover. With 50 movies on this property.
Hey, excuse me, sir.
Listen.
Would it be possible I can move you to this one?
Oh, okay.
Thank you. Just so I can stay together.
Oh, okay.
Appreciate you.
No problem.
You pick things up on the world, famous, universal, standard. We want to introduce you to our co-host.
Please wait behind the line, please.
I didn't know these things had horns.
Commitment to becoming carbon neutral by 2025.
Oh, I learned something new.
Helping us all take another step toward reducing our carbon footprint. So, welcome aboard for an awesome experience that's also awesome for the environment.
Alrighty, now you've met myself and our driver Alejandro, but you need to be one more person. That's my co-host. He makes our tour complete. That's Jimmy Fallon from The Tonight Show, starring Jimmy Fallon.
Oh, hey there. You made it. Welcome to the Universal Studio Tour. I'm Jimmy Fallon. I'll be making sure you get through this experience in one piece. You've got the very best guide.
Nikki!
And the greatest driver.
Alejandro!
They're the best. I love it. Even though
Nikki!
it owes me $5. I know you guys are excited to get on the tour, but first, a few safety rules.
That's right. We have a few safety rules to get through today. First, if you need any guest assistance or you're having a medical emergency, or you drop something of value off the side of the tram, or you have any sound or video issues, reach up and grab the red emergency cord that runs along the center of the ceiling of the tram. I'll be back to assist you as soon as it's safe to do so. Otherwise, during the entire tour, please remain seated, keeping your arms and legs inside the vehicle at all times. The studio is private property, and if at any time during the tour you drop your phone or you just can't wait to use the restroom, pull the cord and remain seated. Please no smoking of any kind during the tour. Be prepared, our tour today features loud noises, fire effects, and many water effects, so you might get wet. There are also 7 tram movements during the tour, so secure your personal belongings and hold on. Finally, for your safety and for those around you, please do not use selfie sticks while on board. Okay, we're heading down the Universal timeline of famous films. Alongside the tram are movie posters from our over 100 years of movie making here at Universal Studios. Now, within those 100 years, we've made over 8,000 films. That's a lot of movies. The posters on the side of the tram represent just a few of the ones that have made us laugh, ones that have made us cry, ones coming out soon. This August we'll get the sequel for Nobody with Nobody 2, starring Bob Odenkirk. We also have other Universal films in theaters now. Megan 2.0 starring Allison Williams. We also have Jurassic World Rebirth starring Scarlett Johansson and John C. Reilly. And these posters also represent films that have won us some major awards, like an Oscar. And we won our first Oscar all the way back in 1930 with the film All Quiet on the Western Front. Since then, we've won many more awards, including more Oscars at this year's 97th Annual Academy Awards. We took home 3 more Oscars, 2 for the film Wicked, one of my favorites of last year, 1 for Best Set Decoration and Production Design. It also won for Best Costumes. That went to Paul Taswell. This is a big win for him. He was the first black man to win in this category, and he also just won a Tony for his costumes for the Broadway musical Death Becomes Her, which is based off of the Universal film of the same name, which actually films a scene in our Metro sets. That film starred Meryl Streep and Goldie Hawn. Our last Oscar that we won this year was for Conclave, which is a focus feature film, and it won for Best Adapted Screenplay. Now, when we do film here on the lot, we have 2 main locations, the front lot and on the back lot. In the front lot, we film inside what we call a sound stage. It makes it very easy for filming because we can regulate how much sound goes in and out of these buildings. They're virtually 98% soundproof. We're coming up on our first sound stage just over to the left. It is stage 12, the largest of our 36 sound stages. Here are a few of the famous films that have happened in stage 12. All those films and many more films inside of stage 12. We're now heading into the heart of our front lot sound stages. Now, we can truly create any type of set we need on the insides. We can make worlds far, far away, made up ones that are in outer space, anything we might need. A lot of times we are creating the interiors of buildings in these sound stages, so the insides of schools, apartments, homes, offices, museums, things like that. Some of these stores are open, so you can get a little peek on the inside. Now, a lot of times, one show or one movie or anything like that, one show is going to take up more than one sound stage. That's the case for the show Hacks, which has used the first couple of sound stages for filming. That's on HBO Max. Season 4 is currently streaming. It stars Emmy Award-winning Jean Smart, Hannah Einbinder, and Megan Stalter, and Paul W. Downs. In stages 7, 8, and 14, that's where we filmed the show Bel Air, a modern retelling of The Fresh Prince of Bel Air. It is on Peacock, our streaming service for NBC and Universal content. In stage 7, that's where we actually have the Banks family mansion in the inside. And then as we round this corner, stage 14 is off on the left. That's where the Bel Air Academy High School is. Bel Air stars Ollie Charlatan and Jabari Banks.
Can you just grab me a water when you get so what it is you put egg on the cheese. You put cheese on the eggs, how many cheeses? It's right. Whoa, how many seats do you think are in there? I don't know, it's gotta be a lot. Yeah. We could probably fit the whole Bel Air cast and crew. You know, we gotta get one of these for the mansion. For sure. You're lucky for y'all. The Banks family mansion lives right here on the Universal lot. Right. Some of Bel Air's most pivotal scenes have been filmed right here. Jabari, what have been your most memorable moments? Oh, I don't know. I mean, there's so many to choose from. You know, I love the foyer set where Will first enters, and at that moment, his life changes forever. What about you? Well, the Bel Air Academy gym set is here too, and I remember you having me sit in that cold ice bath for hours. Yeah, and that was really fun. I still can't feel my toes. No, but seriously, my favorite part of this lot is the talented crew who put it all together from hair, wardrobe, makeup, set design, props, and transportation. Transpo! Yes! Yo, Transpo is the best. And they got the sweetest rides for us to play with. Actually, speaking of, we're gonna get a ride like this. We'd better go talk to Transpo now and let these people get back to their tour. Yeah, that sounds good. As long as I get to drive. Oh, not if I got the keys. Oh, that's fun. Come on, man.
Seasons 1 through 3 of Bel Air are streaming on Peacock, and season 4 is currently in production. It will be its final season. Now, the sound stages off on the right, they've been used for a lot of other streaming services as well. For Apple TV for the show Root, starring Maya Rudolph, Joel Kim Booster, and Ron Funches. Season 3 is currently in production. They've also been used for Netflix for a number of shows in the past, shows like Never Have I Ever, starring Maitreyi Ramakrishnan, and the show A Man on the Inside, starring Ted Danson. And of course, these sound stages have been used for Peacock streaming shows. Stages 18 and 19 are going to be used for a brand new Peacock show streaming in September called The Paper. This is created by the same executive producer and writer of The Office, Greg Daniels, but this is not a reboot, it's a brand new workplace comedy that follows an eclectic group of co-workers as they try to revive a local Toledo paper company, The Truth Teller, under the direction of an eager new boss. It stars Domhnall Gleeson and Office alum Oscar Nunez. Over on the left, we're passing our bungalows to tell us more, are the stars of How to Train Your Dragon.
Hey there, Studio Tour. I'm Jared Butler. I'm Mason James.
And I'm Nico Crocker.
You know, these bungalows to your left are actually production offices.
Home to some of Hollywood's biggest filmmakers, including Mark Platt, one of the producers of our new live-action movie, How to Train Your Dragon.
Everyone wave. You might be there right now. And if you haven't already, be sure to meet the iconic and beloved Toothless over in the closet.
And see our movie only in theaters now.
But in the meantime, here's a sneak peek. Everything we know about dragons is wrong. You ready?
Golf carts. I love golf carts.
How to Train Your Dragon, rated PG, at theaters now.
Now they mentioned Mark Platt as a producer on this film. Now he has his offices in our bungalows, and he has brought us movies throughout the years, movies like Pitch Perfect and Broadway musicals like Dear Evan Hansen and Wicked. He also helped bring Wicked to the big screen, starring Cynthia Erivo, Ariana Grande, Jonathan Bailey from Bridgerton, Oscar and Michelle Yeoh playing Madame Morrible, and Jeff Goldblum as the Wizard. Wicked for Good, the second half of Wicked, will be premiering in theaters this November. Now, the sound stages off on the left look a little different than the ones you saw earlier. Everything they need for filming is located inside. Hair and makeup is in there, wardrobe, the sound stages where they actually film, and the production offices all located in one building, which is why it looks like we're passing a row of office buildings now. These are primarily used for the show St. Denis Medical. St. Denis Medical is a mockumentary about an underfunded, understaffed Oregon hospital where the dedicated doctors and nurses try their best to treat patients while maintaining their own sanity. The series stars Wendy McClendon-Covey, David Allen Greer, Allison Tolman, Josh Lawson, Kylie Kim, McKay Leeper, and Kaliko Ka'au.
I don't know any of those people.
I love a good buzzword, a Coachella type vibe. St. Denis Regional Medical. St. Denis Regional Medical.
That woman is a lot.
She's just quirky. St. Denis Regional Medical. The rhythm is gonna get you, and it got me.
St. Denis Medical. All episodes streaming now. Watch NBC on Peacock.
Season 1 is on Peacock and Season 2 is currently filming. They're actually filming in the area off on the right. This is our Brownstone Street. It's one of our most filmed locations, and you can see some exterior sets from St. Denis Medical in this location. It's a very ideal location for them. It's right across the street from their soundstage. This area has also been used for the film Bruce Almighty, starring Jim Carrey. It's where he lived in the movie.
That's the one.
And for one of the most filmed locations to one of the more recognizable ones, we call this Courthouse Square, but many people recognize it as Hill Valley from Back to the Future.
And there's the clock tower. I wish I was on the VIP one so that I could go up there.
Now, these sets are where Back to the Future and Back to the Future 2 were filmed. Now, this set was here before the movie was filmed, and that area to the left is actually what inspired the ending of Back to the Future. In the original script by writer Bob Gale, the time machine was sent back to the future by a nuclear blast. The studio insisted that they come up with a less expensive and less gloomy ending. When Bob Gale and Robert Zemeckis saw Courthouse Square, they were struck by a brilliant idea. A lightning strike at the tower will become the new energy source for the 1.21 gigawatts for Marty's trip back to 1985. This is what this area has looked like in some other productions because it has been used for other movies and TV shows other than Back to the Future. Now, from the small town of Hill Valley to the big bustling metropolis, welcome to our metro sets. In the metro sets is where we create large downtown city scenes for filming. These streets have become our own downtown Los Angeles. They become the streets of Chicago, but the streets that we represent the most out here are those busy New York ones. And in our New York streets, we have our own Macy's, Broadway theaters. It's like we've taken 34th Street and dropped it right here in sunny Southern California.
Hey everyone, welcome to New York. I got my start right here in New York on Saturday
It's like
Night Live.
Manhattan Square where I have in Ericland.
Watch that mugged over there. An old woman. Tough lady. This is my favorite hot dog guy. Hey buddy, how's it going? Remember me?
Even complete with fire escapes.
Just like old times. Gotta love New York City. Hey, I'm walking here! I'm walking here! Cool guys. I was just walking. So it's not exactly New York, but a lot of times when you see New York in the movies, it was shot right here on the Universal Metro sets. If you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. Even if you make it here on the Universal lot.
And we've also created obstacle courses in those sets for American Ninja Warrior. We're going to leave the concrete jungle behind and head up this hill and into the digital jungle with Peter Jackson and King Kong.
It's the original King Kong that made it. I've seen that movie on TV about 8 or 9 years old.
There's a train. I love trains.
I like trains that just wait for a while. Kong that's how they go on board the ship because they're Lost Island onto creatures from prehistoric times. So I was thrilled when Universal invited me.
I'm going to do what Chris does. Just keep in mind, I'm going to have to cover the camera for a sec so that it doesn't get wet, because at some point it's going to get wet. So forgive me, but I'm going to have to try a couple of things.
All right, everyone, adventure does await us, so please hang on to those belongings and remain seated at all times. Hold on, welcome back to Skull Island.
I've been here before.
the epic battle that you all just survived
Forgive me,
brought to you
sorry
on
if
two of the world's
the video was
largest
bad.
3D screens, measuring about 40 feet tall and
I was trying to do it. I was doing my
Much
best.
for the team of Weta FX in collaboration with Mr. Peter Jackson. Over the years, they brought you 7 Academy Award-winning films like Avatar, Rise of the Planet of the Apes, The Hobbit, The Lord of the Rings, The Jungle Book, Avatar: The Way of Water, and of course, King Kong.
The audience is in the middle of
Forgive me if the video was sort of shaky. I was trying to focus on so many things. I'm not in the center, so I can't look both sides.
We always know.
So I can't really look to both sides.
We're working on. Here you have to take into account that people are looking in all directions. Also, one of the things about this ride, unlike the movies that we're used to working on, there's no cuts because it's one giant shot. This tram that's driving along through Skull Island is where the camera's from. This ring represents where the screen is 10 meters away.
We're really creating about 50 minutes of a feature film. That amount of visual information, that number of pixels, and presenting them to the audience, because it's a hell of a ride.
Now we are back in our back lot, and in the back lot, this is where we create larger exterior scenes on a much grander scale. We do have 2 main types of sets out here. We have one that's called a facade, that's just the front and side of a building, and then we have something called a practical set, which includes a steel infrastructure where we can film indoors, outdoors, all around. Now there's plenty of those examples out on the lot, so I will point them out as we go past. This is a very large facade off on the right. It is just a wall of townhomes. So as I said, a wall and not actual townhomes, because on the other side of that wall there's just a parking lot. So you can't actually film inside of those. That's just used for background purposes in a scene.
There's nothing
so it just
behind
fills
them.
out, adding depth and dimension. It's really what those facades do. Now, one of my favorite things that's in this area of this lot is off on the right. This is a beautiful mural done by Tristan Eden of our movie Monsters. We've got the Wolfman, the Gillman, Frankenstein's monster, the Bride of Frankenstein, and Dracula. Last year marked the 70th anniversary of the 3D classic Creature from the Black Lagoon, which used our lot for filming. It's part of our legacy of horror films and monster movies that stretches from Dracula in 1931 to now the Dark Universe at Universal Epic Universe, open now in Orlando.
I hope I get to go
Over
there.
on the left, we've got more sound stages. One sound stage is very recognizable. Be underneath it, that's stage 30. That, of course, is for The Voice. The Voice is in its 29th season on NBC. Next to those sound stages, we've got stages 32 and 33. Those sound stages are used for Happy's Place. They've got Happy's Place stamped up there on their sound stage. That's Reba McEntire's new sitcom. All of season 1 is streaming on Peacock. Season 2 is currently in production. She joins forces with Melissa Peterman once again. That was her co-star for the long-lived
I love these
of the
Western
early
sets.
2000s Reba, which you can watch all seasons on Netflix. The body of water that's in between us and those sound stages, that's what we call the Hollywood Ocean. Now, it has played the Atlantic Ocean, it's played the Pacific Ocean in the past, but on the back lot we know it as the Black Lagoon from Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Back when the landscape was completely different, when
It was
when the
also
trees were
used
smaller.
for the movie musical Showboat, and it was used for McHale's Navy. It is the Hollywood Ocean is a very large name for that pond, but it does get a lot of use, and it has gotten a lot of use in the past. But now we're going to cross a different pond into one of my favorite spots out on the back lot.
No one
That is
ever
the
waves.
Europe section. Now, Little
I'm such a
Europe
friendly guy. Why
is
are they
one of the most historical places out on our back lot, simply because so much has happened in this one area. It
no one
always
waves.
looks a little too good to be true, because these are the sets of The Good Place, starring Kristen Bell and Ted Danson.
I think I've heard of Kristen Bell, but I don't know who Ted is.
Are dead.
Cool.
This location, the afterlife, I have never ever seen this. You're in the good place.
I'm not supposed to be here. I can't risk going to the bad place.
Maybe it's not all that bad.
How can I help you?
What
What is the bad place like?
Well, it doesn't sound awesome.
Now, in these cobblestone streets, one of my favorite movie musicals was filmed. Rodgers and Hammerstein's Cinderella, starring Brandy, Whitney Houston, Victor Garber, Whoopi Goldberg, Jason Alexander, Bernadette Peters, and Paolo Montalban. These streets have also been transformed into the fictional country of Genovia for The Princess Diaries 2, A Royal Engagement, starring Anne Hathaway, Chris Pine, and the legendary Julie Andrews. But while this area is fit for a fairy tale today, it did not start off as one. It started off as a scary place. That's because Little Europe is where the birth of the Universal Monster films is where it came to pass. In the early days of the studio, we were even known as the Movie Monster Studio. The year was 1931, and the movie was Frankenstein, one of the most important horror films ever created. That wasn't the only classic Universal horror film to film in this area. We also filmed The Wolfman, The Bride of Frankenstein, The Mummy starring Boris Karloff, and Dracula starring Bela Lugosi. There were 2 versions of Dracula that filmed here at the same time. The English language version filmed during the day, and a Spanish language version filmed at night using the same sets but different actors.
Dracula. Oi, Dracula. I never drink. Why? Io nunca bevo.
Oh, now we have my favorite set.
An instrumental part of the process of designing these murals was getting to go to the Universal Archive.
Looks like we're going to be waiting here for a minute.
Props from the movie.
On our backlot. We also have filmed out here the Sting and Oppenheimer in stage 19. But now we're going to head into stage 50. This is a special sound stage out on our backlot. It is always set up for filming. We call this a hot set. Because of that, we do need to remain seated at all times, keeping those arms and legs inside the vehicle. This is set up to look like a subway station. There's props and set pieces alongside the tram indicating that. We've also taken you up north just a bit to San Francisco. There's signs everywhere that say, "Welcome to San Francisco." So it's the easiest way to transport you from one place. Okay, well, I know that tremors are very prevalent up in Northern California. Earthquake is based off of the film of the same name, which used our metro sets and our sound stages for filming. We have reached the halfway mark of the tour. I do want to remind everyone to please remain seated while the tram is in motion.
Awesome.
and keep those arms and legs inside the vehicle. If you have any emergency of any kind, just pull the red cord overhead, and I'll be back to assist you as soon as it's safe to do so. This year marks the 50th anniversary of the blockbuster film Jaws.
Love
Just
Jaws.
up ahead is Amity Island, but before we get there, we're going to check in with Police Chief Martin Brady.
Hey, I got to meet him.
Hi folks, Chief Brody here. You may have heard we have a shark problem, so I'm afraid the beaches are closed.
Yeah, you got a real bad case out there, Chief. I'm here to offer my services.
Thanks, Mr. Quint, but we do already have a plan.
You can hire me and be open this summer, or you can play it cheap.
Well, we do have Officer George patrolling the waters already.
Georgie, diving? Sounds like amateur hour to me. Good luck with that one, Chief.
Well, it's a beautiful day to visit Amity, so we're going to go do just that. And we don't need to worry about any sharks. Sharks don't strike the same place.
Oh wait, there's one right there.
I guess I was wrong. That shark is much bigger than the one we caught. George, yeah, buddy, get out of the water. Get out right now. It's right behind you. George, please get out of the water. Can you hear me, George? George, can you get out? George! Okay, everyone, just make
Oh man, that guy owes me 20 bucks.
Okay, so he never listens to me. I always tell him not to go swimming with Hawaiian Punch in his pockets. But what do I know? I do know that there's bait in the yellow barrel attached to the dock, so hopefully the shark will pay attention to that. Okay, well, it's time to panic.
Oh boy, that's hot.
If you think Bruce is a common name for a shark, it kind of is. Our Bruce is the inspiration for Disney's animated Bruce for Finding Nemo. He's also named after Steven Spielberg's attorney. He's a very, very talented shark. He's the only shark in existence who knows how to do the backstroke. Jaws filmed 50 years ago on location in Martha's Vineyard. And while this area we call it today Amity Island, it's also known as Cabot Cove. From the show Murder, She Wrote, starring Angela Lansbury. All 12 seasons are streaming on Peacock. The sun is shining. It's a beautiful day out. Now it's days like today why the studio was moved from the East Coast to the West Coast, just because of the consistency of beautiful weather, which is great for us, but it's not always good to film something a little bit more dark and stormy. We can't just rely on nature to make up their mind, because weather can be fickle. So we have to create weather in more creative ways. I'm going to step into the role of Madame Orville because weather is my specialty and conjure up a little rain demonstration on our back lot. We've got thunder and we've got lightning. Now all we need is just a little fall of rain. Cue the rain, please. And there we have it.
Great conjuring.
We made it rain. Now we create this rain effect using high power sprinklers that shoots the water straight up into the air. Then we have a technique called gravity, which lets it fall down within like a real rainstorm.
Technique called gravity.
In the early days of filming, weather was a little harder to see. We have perfected it throughout the years. We now know how to light it from behind so it shows up better on screen. But we also need a little bit more than just water for a full-fledged rainstorm. We need to add some ambiance, some sound effects of the rumbling of the thunder, and the strobe lighting effects to create the lightning. All that goes into making the perfect storm. Our flash flood scene in the film Big Fat Liar, starring Frankie Muniz, Amanda Bynes, and Paul Giamatti. That was the weather settled in Mexico, but now we're traveling through the drier side where we filmed movies like Three Amigos and Nacho Libre and TV shows like Westworld, Picard, and Quantum Leap. But now, to say howdy to the Old West. Welcome to Six Points. Six Points got its name because it has 6 different streets, each of which has its own bank, saloon, post office, and jail. It's like each street is its own little town. That came in handy when filming the westerns of the early days of the studio, because you could film up to 6 different westerns at one time on these streets. How could you do that if each production was right next door to each other, making as much noise as they wanted? It didn't really matter how much noise they were making. At the end of the day, the movies were silent. It was the silent movie era of film, so nobody heard a thing. Now, these sets are heavily seen in the film Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, directed by Quentin Tarantino. They're also seen in the Ty West film Maxine, starring Mia Goth, and most recently in a season 4 episode of Hacks. Megan Stalter and Paul W. Downs play agents on the show, and Paul W. Downs is here trying to watch his agent work, or watch his client work. It happens to be an animal actor, is not doing his job well. He keeps biting all of his co-stars. Now, Steven Spielberg actually utilized these sets for 2 of his non-Western films, for the films Amistad and for the film The Color Purple, starring Whoopi Goldberg. It's because of Steven Spielberg why we have Amity on our backlot. He's a visionary director who created Jaws when he was 27 years old.
The Jaws ride was almost the inevitable result of the size of the box office when Jaws first opened in June of 1975. And that was really the first time I ever got involved in the creation of a ride. It was a great honor to be invited into a creative circle of tremendous designers at Universal that were trying to figure out how to replicate what the movie had done for audiences in a real way by building a physical truck that would come out of the water and terrify tourists as they were sitting in the tram.
Oh, a little scary isn't going to hurt
anybody. The most amazing thing about the Jaws ride is it is exactly as it was from the time it was first placed on the Universal lot. There have been tweaks, of course, over the years, but it is essentially what the designers and myself all envisioned and created. I'm done bashing the shark. Thank you, Jaws, for everything you've done for me. But I will say, consistently, the shark did work much better on the tour than it did in the Atlantic Ocean in 1970.
Now we're heading into the residential area of our lot. Down the street to the left, that is what we call our Elm Street. It has been used for films like To Kill a Mockingbird. That first house, the gold and green one, was Boo Radley's house in that film. It's also been used for the NBC show Parenthood, starring Peter Krause and Lauren Graham, as well as the Netflix show Never Have I Ever. Off on the right, this is our chicken ranch. Now, it's called that because it's based off of the establishment in the movie musical Best Little Whorehouse in Texas, which is what this was built for. It is a practical set. We can film indoors, outdoors, all around. Right behind the chicken ranch is a weird half of a house, just the front and side of a building. All that they needed to build to show that the chicken ranch had neighbors. Every area of our backlot is used for something. This area, we call it Wilderness Road. It is an area that we use for filming little woodsy scenes, parks, hikes, things like that. It's easier to film out here than it is to go on location. Here we have the amenities close by, outlets, we have cell service easier, and we also have restrooms. All of that is easier to do here than in the middle of a park somewhere. Now we have about 15 minutes left on the tour. We will be returning to the theme park shortly. Please remember to remain seated while we're on the tram. Pull the red cord overhead if you need any assistance. Anytime you see a vehicle on a screen, we call that a picture car. And we're passing some famous picture cars off on the left. We have a car that looks just like a tram. That's because that is a tram. So the trams used to look like 61 years ago. It's called a glamour tram. Then we have cars from some famous franchises here at Universal. So the gyroscope from Jurassic World does look a little different than you might remember in the film. In the movie, it had glass that covered the two boys who rode inside of it. In reality, it never had that glass. We added that in with CGI, which is computer-generated imagery. And then the Jeep Wrangler Sahara from the Jurassic Park films. Cars from Fast and Furious, the new coaster being built and will be in our theme park, Fast and Furious Hollywood Drift, opening in 2026. We have cars from Transformers. All of these cars are parked and ready to check into one of the creepiest spots out on our back lot from Alfred Hitchcock's classic thriller Psycho. This is the Bates Motel. It does have construction happening on the inside or in front of it. That's for our Halloween Horror Nights event, which will be starting September through November. All information on that will be on our website or on our social media. Over on the left is our scale model replica of the Hollywood sign. The real Hollywood sign celebrated its 100th anniversary last year. It's one of LA's most iconic landmarks, and an iconic landmark on our lot is this house, the Psycho House. Upstairs is Mother, and on the porch, Norman Bates.
But don't worry about him, he's fine.
Oh, he's coming. Or not.
Now for one of the creepiest spots, one of the most impressive welcomes Steven Spielberg's War of the World. If you're wondering if that's a real airplane, the answer is yes. It is a 747 aircraft. It is retired and lives a nice retirement on our backlot. It was originally purchased for $60,000. Then shipped here for a mere $200,000 and ripped up and destroyed into 3 pieces. This is all that is left of the neighborhood where Tom Cruise hid out in the film.
The airplane crash site set is a perfect example of a set that is all designed around a vision of Steve.
When we first began to sit down to talk about War of the World, I thought, what if the 747 goes down right in a big
If it looks like a real plane, that's because it is a real plane.
You don't see.
You're doing good. You're doing good. Keep your eyes on me. Listen, I want you to close your eyes, okay? Down closed. Robbie, get in. Get in.
That's one of the largest, most elaborate sets ever created. It rivals Cecil B. DeMille's Ancient Egypt in the Ten Commandments and even James Cameron's rebuilding of the Titanic. Most sets of that size are redone with scale model miniatures to make it easier for filming, but Steven Spielberg didn't want to do that. He dropped a giant plane on the back of the back lot and used 500 special effects, which is the most special effects he's ever used. Steven Spielberg is an Academy Award-winning director that we've gotten the chance to work with time and time again. We're very lucky that he calls our backlot home.
My entire career began with my relationship with Universal Studios just as a high school kid on a tour bus. Remember, in those days there weren't trams, there were buses called the Gray Line Tour Bus. And I was so excited and thrilled to be on the lot. This was my first time ever on a movie studio lot. And during a bathroom break, I hid in the bathroom, and when everybody left to get back on the bus, I waited another 15 minutes until I'm sure the bus left, and then I had the entire lot to myself that day. And in those days, movie lots were so crowded because all movies were made on film lots. Today they're made all over the world, on locations, but most of it was focused in those days, in the 60s, on the film lots. So nobody noticed me when I was going around from soundstage to soundstage, and I really felt, in my own young way, I owned the lot and had the most amazing day of my life.
And we are celebrating the 50th anniversary of Jaws all summer long. We have the original trailer, which was in theaters 50 years ago.
There is a creature alive today.
I hope one day if I ever get to star in a movie, then I hope that I get to film it here. But I don't know. I mean, who knows? I'm 26, so I got plenty of years in my life left.
A mindless eating machine. It will attack and devour.
Oh, I love it.
Anything. It is as if God created the devil and gave him jaws. best-selling novel, Jaws.
Wait a minute, Jaws was a novel?
Maybe too intense for younger children.
Keep making Mega Movie Summer memories and celebrate Jaws 50th with a photo with our hanging shark at the entrance of Waterworld. You might even run into Chief Brody or Captain Quint, and you can stream Jaws at home on Peacock until July 31st or own it on digital through uphe.com. And as we head back to the park, look for more Mega Movie Summer food, fun, and photo ops for a limited time only. There are a lot of photo ops happening in our Universal. So meeting Elphaba and Glinda near the future presentation store.
Whoa, behind the scenes
For over
dumpsters.
110 years, Universal Studios has been thrilling audiences around the globe. Our founder, Carl Laemmle, had a vision to make movies that would make audiences laugh, cry, or sit at the edge of their seats. When he first opened the doors to Universal City in 1915, he wanted to open up the world of movie making to everyone. He understood the power of storytelling on the screen and the excitement for going behind the scenes can inspire. And we are nearing the end of our tour today. I'd like to thank each and every one of you for taking the world-famous studio tour. I'd also like to give it up for Alejandro, our wonderful drivers, getting us back safely from our trip. To all of our past members who have joined us today, thanks so much for being here. If you're not a past member but would like more information on how to become one, visit the Universal box office in the park for more details. Also, download the Universal Studios Hollywood app. That's where you're going to find everything you might need for the rest of your day, how to plan it out. You'll see wait times for rides and attractions, show times for Waterworld, a live SeaWorld Spectacular. Confirm the park's closing time tonight of 9 p.m. You can also mobile food order on the app as well. We're going to be heading to our unload in just a moment.
Roads? Well, we're going, we don't need roads.